Hey guys, Half Chrome. You'll see I got a bunch of different drones on the table today. What do they all have in common? Well, I can fly every single one of them with this remote right here, the Jumper T8SG. Alright, so why do you want this remote to fly all these different drones? Well, if you're taking some of these out to the park and you want to fly a few different ones, you got to bring a few different remotes. I've got a Hubsan, I've got an Eachine, I've got an XK, I've got a SEMA, I've got a Furry B Dark Max, SEMA X8, I got an Eachine 010, 011, I got a Red Paws, I've got a King Kong. They all fly on what's known as different protocols. So some of them fly in FlySky, Frisky, DSM-2, DSM-X. Hubsan has its own thing. SEMA has its own thing. XK has its own thing, right? So each one of these needs their own remotes. You don't want to bring all of those remotes to the park. You want to bring this guy. Other than not having to bring a ton of different remotes to the park, why do you want to do this? Well, these little drones here, these tiny whoops that you build yourself, or even if you have it in Ductrix, they come with remotes that look something like this. This is not a good remote. It doesn't have good feel. It doesn't have good gimbals, good sticks. This one does. It feels like flying a whole different drone. On top of that, this thing is more powerful. It has a better antenna. You're going to get double, triple your range. I took this SEMA. This is a Force 1 Thunderbolt, which is the same as the SEMA X5 UW. One of the biggest limitations of this drone is its range. It's 100, 200 feet max. I can fly this with my jumper to the point where I can't see it anymore. Right? It's not an FPV drone. It flies beyond my line of sight with this, and I can bring it back. So I've tested the range on a handful of these drones. It's almost always double or better, right? This little thing, you think this puts out a decent range? No, it doesn't. These little tiny drones, they have a really short range. You throw it on the jumper, you get better range, you get better feel. You got a better drone. Okay, so you can see I've got a bunch of remotes here. The FlySky, I've got a Tyrannus, I've got some SEMA remotes. You can see the Eachine E11. I've got a Dimension Devo 7, right? It's got similar software to my jumper, but in order to do what my jumper does, I'd have to do some soldering and take it apart. Another SEMA remote. I've got another Tyrannus, Radio Link, the QX10 from Cheerson, or CX10 from Cheerson. Cheap little remote. This jumper replaces them all. Even comes in this nice little carrying case. So for 85 bucks, replace all of these remotes. Not spending 200 like the Tyrannus, or even 110 like the QX7. Right, and I got it all right here. So you might be thinking, well, can't I just add modules to some of these remotes? Yeah, you could. Like this Tyrannus here, I added a module so I could fly DSM to DSM-X to this. That's another 30 bucks, right? So I got 110 in the remote, $30 on this module. Sure, I could add another module. I got to take out, put in to fly some of these SEMAs. That's another $30. So now I got $60 in modules. Why not just pick up this jumper? Does it all. So one of the big reasons I really think you want to get one of these is if you're flying any one of these little tiny whoop-like machines, right? You're building tiny whoop-like racers for the indoors, right? Winter's coming, it's gonna be cold. You don't want to be flying it on this thing. These are terrible, right? Let's be honest, they're not very good. The sticks here, much better. All right, so when I pair it to my Red Paws or any of my Eachines for indoor flying this winter, it just feels better. It's like I'm unlocking a new feature. It moves better, it works better, it pitches a little bit more. There we go.